Today we're reviewing the WCW United States Championship. Now, usually when I review belts, I usually just have it on my bed and I do close-up videos. This time it's going to be a bit different. I don't actually have this belt with me. My good friend Mike does, and he actually received it today, which is, he got 2-day shipping, I believe.
I got it next day shipping. I ordered it on Thursday. I think the belt came out, on Wednesday, so I got it today on Friday.
Exactly. So we're going to go over the details on WWE Shop, and then Mike is going to show us the belt, and we're just going to talk about our opinions and everything. So in Canada, the price is $521.62 Canadian, or but I believe $3.99 American. And you can see there on the screen, they look pretty nice in the pictures online. Usually, WWE Shop, their pictures aren't the best. I mean, the lighting is horrible. But this looks really good, just in pictures. The curve looks a little, not that much. It looks a little flat. But overall, it looks pretty good. Mike, how's the curve on the plate?
It's okay.
Slightly a curve.
Slightly a curve. I think what we're looking at is, like I was explaining in my unboxing video, very flexible, floppy straps. I get fortunate with WWE Shop, I guess. I feel like the quicker you order it, that first batch of belts, for whatever reason, turns out to be that way. But here it is in all of its glory there. Let's try to get a good shot there.
Yeah, it looks really
lighting.
Good.
The etching, I love the side plates, honestly. I know it's like basic, but yeah. But go ahead, Max, continue on with your presentation.
Yeah, so we can see the side plate there, the detail. You can see the two wrestlers grappling, and it says World Championship Wrestling. You can see on Mike's screen there. And these are 6mm thick plates, which is pretty nice.
They are.
And one thing that I do have to say with the strap is there's no more stitching, which is just great.
Yeah.
As you can see there, it doesn't show the stitching on the strap or the snap box, so it's all one piece. Yeah, they're right there.
Yep.
And it looks pretty flexible. How's the strap, Mike?
The strap is comparable, like I was telling you before we started filming, to the NXT Championship that they shipped out last year, as opposed to the one that I got in 2017. Pretty flexible, but not comparable to how flexible and bendable the current United States Championship is that I got last year. That one is like buttermilk. It's unbelievable. This one, I wouldn't say it's on that level, but I would say to put over your shoulder here on the Over the Shoulder podcast, special episode here real quick. I would say it doesn't, I'm not saying it goes like, all the way back, but it's not something that's sticking up. That's for sure.
Yeah. Can you give us a side profile to see how it sits?
Whatever you need me to do, sure.
Can you put it, over your shoulder and do maybe like a side profile to see how much it's sticking?
Yeah, we just want to see it goes all the way down or kind of.
Oh, yeah.
It's not too bad. Yeah. Not too bad. It does go down. It's not like some of the other titles that just stick right up.
Right, and once you break it in a little bit, I think that part of it will be fine. This is one of my favorite championships, if I may say. I remember being a kid and stuff like that, and this was their WCW's equivalent to the Intercontinental Championship. Right. And it's funny because you see the stuff right here, heavyweight wrestling champion. It reminds you of that classic Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, the banners.
But it's just, to me, it's just a classy title. Does not look like a toy, like you see some of these WWE belts nowadays. You can't differentiate whether they're a championship title with prestige or a toy. To me, this is a prestigious championship. Everything about it. Sure, we could talk about the 5-plate version that I believe this is more vertical, right? and that would have been cool too. But I don't know. It's just the whole thing. To me, it's one of those belts that, even despite it not having that, I still think it's very comparable, and it's a little hard to differentiate. And I think WWE Shop, I don't know how long they've been planning this belt, but right now, if you want it, now you have to pre-order it, and they're going to have more made by July 23rd.
Yeah.
So I got the first run of them. I got fortunate. So now, will the next run, will the straps be stiff? It's possible. But I think what we're seeing right now with WWE Shop, they're putting more effort in. I feel like the replica belts are getting better.
Yeah.
This belt, not too bad. I mean, compared to some of the other ones that they've released, this one is pretty decent. I mean, myself, I definitely am a fan, of course, of the 5-plater, the 5-plate version. And I mean, on that belt, if the 5 plates were there, obviously those side plates would be probably smaller. They would probably, because you wouldn't be able to fit those type of side plates on the strap. And then, more vertical. Yes. The etching, how's the etching?
Think you take a look right there.
Not bad.
It's not too bad.
Try and zoom into the little flags on the corners of the main plate, because on the shop it looks really detailed. It looks really nice.
Yeah, it looks very detailed in the shop.
See the flags?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Okay, and now over here with the etching, the side plate, I'll tell you, that is and it has a nice shine to it, and a better light. Like earlier today in the afternoon, it has like a better. It has a nice shine to it with that etching. Right. I'm trying to get the best image I can, but it's, and for me, just like Rob always says, it's important. What I love is that
patch
right there. That patch right there, official. And I think this belt, to me, it just brings back memories. Like belts like this. The reason why I get belts like this, or the Classic Intercontinental, or the Winged Eagle or whatnot, it just brings back so many memories to such a golden age of pro wrestling, when these championships meant a lot. I mean, United States Championship matches back then, they were a big deal, especially if one of those titles changes hands, especially with our other episode that we filmed about the Intercontinental title. I mean, those mid-card titles, when the babyface would finally overcome and win it felt like a big deal. It felt like a big part of the show. Am I right, Rob?
I totally agree. And, and I was thinking about this title. I mean, they released it, and is this a sign of things to come? Like, is this really a sign of things to come with the WCW line? So what are we talking about? TV title, cruiserweight.
Oh, my God. The old world title that Ron Simmons, Vader held.
Exactly. Exactly. Like the 91 to 93 WCW heavyweight. I mean, those are titles. Like, I'm wondering here, is this a sign of things to come? Is WWE Shop finally listening? And it seems like they are on a lot of these products. So, and I mean, that cruiserweight, that WCW cruiserweight, who knows? Maybe it is a sign of things to come. The thickness on that plate, though, the 6 millimeter, when you turn it to the side, and you just got that is an amazing thickness, and it probably adds a few pounds to the weight. What's the weight they have on here, Max?
I was going to say it's under 6 pounds, but
it says 5 pounds.
5 pounds. All right. Not too bad. No stitching. And that one is floppy. But again, ladies and gentlemen, we can't guarantee floppiness of the belts.
I've gotten very fortunate.
You have.
One thing I want to say about, when we were talking about WCW, this is going to be embarrassing. Let me get the bag real quick. We're live, pal, but let me get you that bag real quick. That way you could see what Rob is talking about. might have some substance to it. And now this feels like a different material bag a little bit. And it has that own WCW logo, which again would make what Rob's saying make a little sense here. Like, are there more WCW belts to come? Are there more ECW belts to come? The ECW television title, the ECW tag titles. Will we get, I don't know if you're a fan of NXT UK. I am.
Don't even get me started on the tag titles.
Will we get the NXT UK tag belt?
Listen, I've been waiting so long for the NXT UK tag team titles. Ever since they announced them and they came out, I've been waiting. I have money saved, ready to buy them. As soon as they come out, I want to buy them. I love those titles. And they're still not out. It's been so long. It's been like almost 2 years now.
I think they'll have them. But now I ask you this. There's been an abundance of belts, whether we go back to Signature Series belts of Triple H, The Rock, The Undertaker, Eddie Guerrero, Razor Ramon, whatnot. So many. Do you think a lot of this mass producing of these championships lately has a lot to do with them trying to make up for profits during the pandemic? And maybe when these events pick up here and there, we'll only see some of these belts pop up at the WrestleMania Superstore each year sparingly?
Well, just about the profits, from what I heard, 2020 was our most profitable year in a long time.
But did a lot have to do with, because nobody could have physically went?
No, but I think it was because I might be wrong, I might be completely wrong, but I believe they saved money not having to rent out arenas.
That's fair.
And also traveling, all that stuff, the whole like stage, the ring, that costs a lot, right?
But you need to make up for certain losses.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you're wrong, but what I'm saying is, boy, when the pandemic hit,
went crazy. Yeah.
These belts were coming in every few weeks.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been a customer of them for so long. I don't remember a time where so many belts just randomly pop up.
Yeah.
Even that belt you didn't like, the NWO Wolfpack, that just randomly popped up shortly after the dual-plated Winged Eagle fail job of whatever that was. So these belts are just popping up, and it's almost like they're looking for that source of revenue. But now that we're going to have live fans back, are they going to scale back on the production of some of these replicas? I don't know.
Well, and I don't know, if they will. I don't know. You see, I mean, if I were to go back to 2017 when I started collecting, and like even 2018, they weren't really doing a lot of these older type of belts, like bringing them on to shop. Like from what I remember, I mean, you still had like the classic Intercontinental white logo, the white one. You still had those types of belts, but recently, I mean, yes, they've been coming out with them, but in like 2019, 2020, they kind of then started to bring these back a little bit. And and as Max was saying, I think I do agree with Max with respect to 2020 being the most profitable year, because I have listened to other channels as well, and they do like the news and rumors, and they take a look at that. Yeah, they've saved on not having to rent out the arenas, not having to travel, not having to do hotels. They've gotten money off of the merch, off the merchandise, because I mean, even like just WWE Shop, Amazon, all those other online sites. I mean, everybody
around Target, Walmart.
Exactly. They can't go anywhere. So what are they doing? They're buying stuff online. So that may be another reason. It very, very, very well could be. But I believe that this has been going back for quite some time, since even pre-COVID, that they were starting to release it because fans, I believe, and I could be totally wrong, fans wanted to see some of these belts reoccur, to come out.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I remember being at WrestleMania 35. It was the WrestleMania 35 Superstore in Brooklyn at the Pier. And they had a limited run at first before they put it on shop of the White Winged Eagle. And so I looked at that and I was like, oh. And then that was the first Signature Series belt that they made that year, was the Shawn Michaels one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's really cool. They only had a handful there. They only had like 3 or 4 Daniel Bryan belts, and that's the first one I got. Like, I was one of the first people to even get that belt. I got it. Now it's not so special. You get it on Shop Whatever. The funny thing is, when I got that Daniel Bryan belt, it smelled like wood. I mean, it was crazy. It was absolutely insane. That's one of my favorite titles. It really is.
Yeah, and you know what? And a couple things. Like, I mean, they are premiering a belt. Yeah, I mean, at WrestleMania. I mean, I believe they did that with the Mankind Signature Series.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
I don't. I mean, I'm not a fan of that belt, but I mean, I have.
Me either. Yeah.
I have seen it. I mean, it was good. But one that they actually premiered at WrestleMania 33, which I actually, well, I wasn't there, but I'm a big fan of Miss WWE Fan 13's YouTube channel, and she was there. And WrestleMania 33, they actually did the New Day title. Yeah. They did the New Day title, and they only had a select few of them. I think it was, don't quote me, I think it was about 15 to 16 of them that they had for sale.
And then they put them on Shop shortly thereafter.
Exactly. So every WrestleMania, I mean, are we going to be expecting this? I think we are. With the Signature Series line, they're probably going to do that. But with these belts, like the WCW, they're going to be sporadic. Like they'll come, and I think they will. And it's just like some of these other belts, like even like the Ruthless Aggression, the tags over there, like those. I mean, yeah.
I want the SmackDown one that you. Yeah, that's.
That could be in the shop too. I mean, it very, very well could be. I mean, so a sign of things to come.
I just got another nasty comment by somebody. Let's see.
No, also, while you... sorry to interrupt, but like you were saying, they announced a lot of the belts at WrestleMania, but they also did at SummerSlam, I believe. 2019, they did the European, the Women's, and the Intercontinental Oval. And then
and WrestleMania 35, they had a select run of the women's tag belt.
Right.
That was the other one.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I believe also SummerSlam 2018, they did the NXT tags. So
yes.
They did.
It is common for them to like release their new belts at like the big shows, SummerSlam, the WrestleManias. But I honestly hope that this is a sign for the future. Like there have been rumors of them making the 3D textured big gold. I'd hope so. Or the big green belt, or even the Andre belt. You know, just seeing there's so many possibilities. I'd hope they do that.
Yeah, I mean the Andre belt's going to be hard. I mean, just because of the WWF. But
I think the Andre belt's going to be done as a signet. I don't think it'll be done as a signature series. I think he's due for a legacy belt. That's the only way you do that. It's $1,000. It's a big box, whatever. It's a big belt, and it'll be a custom type of strap, maybe a handprint on the strap, or something of that nature. And we're gonna see a legacy, not a signature series for $4.99. It's gonna be. It's either gonna be $850 or it's gonna be $1,000, and that is going to be a hot commodity when they sell that. But right now, official Tom Wheeler on YouTube says I am embarrassing myself. He won't be subscribing to me. I'm so rude to my commenters.
So, if you guys don't understand what he's talking about, Mike Morano also has a YouTube channel where he posts interesting videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you don't want to subscribe, that's fine, ladies and gentlemen. It is, but yeah, Mike has a very successful YouTube channel where he does post very, very good videos about unboxing. And if you don't want to subscribe, fine, but you are missing out. That's all we can say.
I appreciate it. On top of that, if you don't want to subscribe, please stop commenting so much hateful messages all in one day. I mean, this. Got some people riled up over there across the border, but it's okay.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the belt, do you guys prefer... I know, Rob, I think you said you prefer the 5-plater. Mike, do you prefer the 5-plater or the 3-plater?
Look, I'd be lying if I said that I wish it didn't have all 5 plates and it wasn't the one from the early 90s or whatever. But holding this belt, seeing this belt... it's everything I could have wanted from the money that I spent. And to be quite honest with you, I'm gonna go with this championship as the one, and it's a very classy feel. The vertical part and the five plates alone are beautiful. We all love that. We all agree on that. The vertical part of the belt, let's say, I feel like it would have made it it would have stood out a little too much. To me, this is the perfect width, length. It's classy. Like I said, you could picture a superstar, a wrestler, a professional wrestler in a suit right now. And then under his suit jacket, having this around his waist and this title, it's basic enough. Yeah. See what I mean? And that's the thing that today's championships are missing. They're missing that base, like it's got to stop being a toy. It needs to be a championship that is earned. And I truly feel like we reviewed the Intercontinental yesterday, but this, to me, is something that I thoroughly enjoy. I would pick this version. I'm very satisfied with the purchase. I would encourage people who are considering buying it to keep in mind that if you had another belt in mind, like we were talking about the WCW World title, the older one from the early 90s with guys like Ron Simmons, Big Van Vader, guys like that. If you want that, we can't guarantee that you won't see that belt pop up in a few weeks. Yeah. So if you really want this title, like this is one of my favorite titles of all time, and that's why I bought it. And if you really love this championship, I say go for it. I really do.
Yeah, and definitely well said. And just seeing that title, it actually brings back like a memory that I had myself when I was first getting into the belt hobby. I had a transaction with a local boy here that I actually bought two belts off of. It was the WWF Intercontinental and the WWF Big Eagle, and he actually had the third belt, that belt, the WCW.
Big Zinc.
It was
right?
Fig Zinc. Yeah, it was Fig Zinc. And I believe that was I don't remember. I think it was a rare one. It was a 5-plater, but it might have been a custom 5-plater. I had a chance to get that one, and I probably should have.
I don't think Figure Zinc ever made a 5-plater.
Fig Zinc had a 3-plater.
Yeah, I don't think they ever made
and they had a 3, but he added the 5. He added something. Like, it was different. So it was weird.
Especially on that stock strap he did?
Yeah, it was weird. It was the weirdest thing. I would have just got it because it had 5 plates. I wouldn't even care. I mean, at that point, yeah. I mean, I'm
just a Frankenstein of a belt. Jeez.
Frankenstein of a belt.
That's interesting.
Honestly,
he did.
I would love that though. Like the main plate, this main plate, and the 5 plates. I would like that.
He custom did it because you're right. 3-plater. It was only on the Fig Zinc, and like that's all they came out with was 3-plater. So, and then he had a whole bunch of people who signed the belt. I mean, that didn't matter to me, but I mean, one of them notably actually was Scott Steiner that actually signed the belt. But kind of cool stuff. So, but yeah, when looking at that belt, it kind of brings back a past time when I was a rookie in the belt hobby back 4 years ago. So,
can I ask you guys a quick question, Max? This will go to you first, real quick. I know we said we wouldn't spend too much time on this, and that's fine. But there are a couple things that I just want to clarify real quick about the belt or the history, whatever. The Figs Inc. belt, correct me if I'm wrong, had a much darker shade to it. I believe it, like this one, like you're not here right now to see, but it's light. Like you see the gold. The one from Figs Inc., from what I remember, was it was overcome by like darkness almost.
It was dark.
Wasn't it a 2mm?
It was a 2mm belt, but it was darker. Like the
it was
like
dark.
even the red, white, and blue was a darker red, white. Like, it wasn't as bright, and the colors didn't pop like they pop off of this one.
Yeah, I think you're...
I'm not saying it... Listen, that's a rare belt. I mean, listen, hey, if you come across a Fig Zinc WCW US belt for a solid price, by all means, buy it. but I'm just stating from what I remember. That belt came with the new logo WCW bag. That you remember the Alliance logo of WCW.
Yes.
And I believe the belt itself was darker. I don't know if that took away from the side plates or the etching of the side plates, or maybe it made it better. I don't. Some texture of that belt might have been better than this. I don't know.
I know what you mean. I think you're right, because I remember seeing pictures of the 2mm Fig Zinc, and the side plates just, like, I'll try and zoom in here in the video. You couldn't tell any detail. Also, it was 2mm, so that didn't help. But since it was darker plating, I think you're right, a darker shade of gold, you couldn't really tell the detail as you can in the current one.
Yeah.
This one, now, it's just to each their own. I mean, hey, listen, this is not going to be on shop, let's say, 20 years from now. So, again, like we talked about in a previous video, like we talk about the fabled Fig Zinc belts. I want one. I used to have one. I used to have the original ECW. But I think some of these belts that they're remaking right now, people are going to look back at it and be like, oh, shit, that was a pretty cool belt to add to the collection.
Yeah, and going back to the Alliance edition, that just kind of lit a light bulb up for me. And I think it was darker, but fellow admin on Belt Addicts Anonymous, Casey, I believe, had that belt, the Alliance edition.
Wow.
He had the Alliance edition.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. And I remember when he was doing his collection videos, and yeah, it was darker. It was.
Those belts, those early days of Fig Zinc, it was like you were holding an antique. That was not something you can drape over your shoulder or, like, throw up here or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't take it and be like, it was there wasn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember much. Obviously the Andre belt's a huge exception. But I don't remember the weight of those belts, but I imagine they didn't weigh as much. I remember the plating was always very thin. Very, very thin.
The one thing about Figure Zinc belts, as I know they're very rare, but like I think, like you said, these belts, I think they're gonna age better. Now, I don't mean to offend you, especially you, Rob, that you have all your Fig Zincs, but a lot of them are like 2mm. The plating isn't the best, which is fine because technology like 20 years ago isn't what it is today.
Well, it's different. Yeah.
And technology advances, and of course the replicas today are a lot better quality. I think these are going to age a lot better. Like 20 years from now, 30 years from now, these are still going to be great replicas. Like you look at the 6mm plates and the great quality, I think that's going to age better than a 2mm plate with darker plating.
As long as they're not cutting corners, Max, on their, let's say, like we were talking about with the Undisputed title with the paint jobs. And I mean, as long as they're not cutting corners, because I mean, that's one of the issues that I'm finding that they're doing is the cutting the corners. And, on this belt, I mean, obviously I don't have the belt in hand, but, I mean, even when we were talking about like, Mike's, signature series Undisputed title, where, on the Undisputed, the black border, right? It goes around the plates, but it actually wasn't. It's actually just on the nameplate to make it look like it was going around the black border. So stuff like that, as long as they're not cutting corners, I mean, I'm all definitely for these belts. The thickness is better, the floppiness, the strap is, I mean, let's not get into the strap. The straps we know are better than Figure Zinc. I mean, they absolutely are. But I mean, I'm all for it. From what I see from Mike's belt, the WCW, I mean, I think they've nailed a lot of things on this. I really do. It looks like it's a really solid replica. Yeah. It really is. This one definitely looks like they've really hit a lot of things home. I've heard some other belt collectors say it's garbage, whatever. But this I definitely do. They've hit a lot of things, and that's it. I mean, it's floppy. He can put it over his shoulder, not totally sticking up. The curve, maybe not as good, but the thickness of the plates, very nice. Figures Inc. was like thin.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, and I think this was like it was almost like a carbon copy center plate, I think, of the retro Intercontinental, and then that was their template, and they went from there.
Just went for it, yeah,
I think that's what they did, and it became 6mm. They added stuff to it, they added detail to it, but I think they had an easy template with the original IC title.
You're right, because they had the stars. I mean, they got one star on each side on the Intercontinental. They had the stars, then the Intercontinental, so they had that. Put the United States
Look
up.
at the bottom.
Bottom looks exactly like it did. Well, it does for the Intercontinental for it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's.
They used to do that with action figures, like back in the day. Like they would be like, especially with like Hasbro's or whatever. Like one guy, let's say, would have like Ric Flair. I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but let's say his body would have been the body of like Repo Man or somebody else, and now it's just a different paint job. I feel like the reason why they were able to get, because this kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, maybe they were planning this big July 4th release, I guess. But these have been like a couple of random drops. Like the Wolfpack drop was random. And then this seemed like, okay, not so random, 4th of July, but still, it makes you wonder.
Wow.
All right, so let me ask you guys this, and we'll sum it up with this. I said this wouldn't be that long of a thing, so let me sum it up with this. What each of you, we can go down the line real quick. We'll start with Max, Rob, and then myself. What is one WCW or ECW championship that you would like to see them remake? Or it could be a championship from another company that they own the rights to. Not a WWE title, but something from another company. Any specific belt?
For me, it would be the WCW heavyweight title. Not the big gold. I believe you said 91?
The 91
and 93.
Yeah.
That
with
one,
the globe,
I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to have that one. If they sold that, I would buy it.
Yeah, and for me, it would be actually the Cruiserweight, the WCW Cruiserweight. It would be really, really nice to see, even though for myself, I'd probably go after the Figures Inc. one, obviously. But it is still nice. And I really think, gentlemen, that, they did drop this for July 4th weekend. SummerSlam's in Vegas. I think that we're going to have another reveal.
Yeah.
And it's in front of a crowd. It's at the stadium. I have a feeling. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think that there might be another.
Yeah, I think they'll release something at SummerSlam. It might be a signature series, though, but I don't know. I think they'll definitely release something. Let's be on. Okay, let me put it to you like this, and then I'll give you what belt I wish they would remake. The last time SummerSlam was in a stadium, it was at Wembley Stadium in '92. What if they made, with the red, white, and blue, with the British colors, a London version, an England version of the IC title to commemorate the British Bulldog and that match against Bret Hart? I think that would be a must. And if they put higher millimeter plates on that, I think that's a must own.
Yeah, that might be a must.
Probably a must. And I'm coming up with crazy whoppers. I have no information of this at all, but I'm just going based off of, I don't know, just a weird feeling. But I will say this. We are missing an Ultimate Warrior signature series because you think about all the colors that he had. I want to say two things. The one belt that I wish they would recreate is the one that Max said. The old WCW heavyweight title, I would die for that belt. I would do anything for that championship. There's one other quick thing that I really wish they would remake. It was at a weird point. It was only defended one time. The purple strap of the Winged Eagle that Slaughter beat Warrior for at Rumble 91. I want that belt.
Yeah, that's a must-have.
That would be like... And maybe if they make a signature series of Warrior, they can blend in his neon colors and other colors that he used, like the white, the blue, the lavender, the yellow for the IC title, and they can all come together. I think that would be a pretty sick signature series.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be sick. That would be sick. But yeah, no, like I said, It's exciting to see. Let's see what happens, guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, I think this is a good time to stop.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robert, for joining me. Thank you
No
again,
problem.
Mike, for bringing your belt on for reviewing
Oh,
my
of course.
channel.
Thank you for having me on your channel.
Yeah,
I hope
definitely.
I hope you upload this soon, and I hope people get a chance to see it.
Of course. So thanks again for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe. Also, make sure to subscribe to Mike's channel. I will add his channel in the description. Check him
Thank
out.
you.
And I'll see you guys in the next video.